All right. I am back. I was just trying to do my Wisdom Wednesday talk, and I probably lost a few people, but something was stirring up in my throat, and I had to cough and everything. And so I am back on here again. Let me just start over. I didn't get too far in, so let me just start over. My name is Coach Ophelia Marie, and welcome again to Wisdom Wednesday. It's Wisdom Wednesday Talk, and today's Wisdom Wednesday Talk is 22 types of content that your audience is eagerly waiting for you to create. 22 types of content your audience is eagerly waiting for you to create. So again, I apologize about previously, but we are starting over here. So let's go ahead and get started with today's Wisdom Wednesday topic. So started off by saying that one of the main keys to being successful or building a successful business is making sure that we offer our readers a variety of content. So we want to offer them like a number of different types of content that's all related to our niche or our industry, whatever industry or niche that we serve. And the reason it's important, three different reasons it's important. Number one is because different types of content serve different functions. So your audience is able to use the content that you provide in several different ways to benefit them when you're providing different types of content. So, for example, a fill in the blank set of templates. If you offer them a fill in the set of blank fill in the blank set of templates, then your audience is going to use that differently than if you offer them a checklist. However, both of them are very, very useful to help them to reach their objectives, to reach their goals, but they're useful in different ways. So that's number one. Number two is because different types of content show different applications. Okay. So while the people in your niche, have some shared problems, some shared goals and interests, they also have very unique situations. They have unique skill sets. They have unique schedules, and so forth. So providing them different types of content is going to allow more of your audience to understand how the information personally applies to them. Because Google, we say Google is our friend and YouTube and everything, but there are those times where we don't need general information. We need information that is custom to our particular situation, right? So different types of content show different applications. And a third reason this is important, it's important to provide a variety of content, is because for most of us, variety is the spice of life. So different types of content can spawn different reactions. Okay. And again, like I said, for most of us, we love a variety. It keeps things from going stale, and it keeps us from being bored, you know, when we spice it up. So when you offer different types of content, then you keep things interesting, and you avoid, getting into that rut of not challenging and exciting your audience with something fresh. Okay. All right, so now that I've pretty much built my case, for the necessity of variety, then I'm going to answer the question, what kind of content? What kind of content? Which is what we're getting to today. But just a side note, I just want to say this. Part of what's going to make your content really valuable to your audience is for you to explain what to do and how to do it. Okay? Which is pretty obvious, right? But it's also important that you explain why they should do it. You know, you're told what to do, you're told how to do it, but sometimes you don't know why. Why should you do that? If people don't see the importance of taking that action that you're telling them that they need to take, or that you're suggesting that they should take, then they are more likely to pretty much brush off what you're saying or discount it, and they're a lot less likely to take the action because they don't understand why it's important. Okay. So make sure you share the reason why as often as needed, especially like in those significant steps that you share. Okay. And this can be as brief as a sentence. You don't have to go into a whole lot of detail, but it could be one sentence or something, or it could be as long as you feel it needs to be. Okay. so that they will understand why. Okay, so back to the question, what kind of content? Okay, so that's what this whole Wisdom Wednesday talk is going to answer for you. Again, I'm going over 22 types, so I have quite a bit of information to share. I hope you have a pen and paper, or however you take notes on your phone, iPad, Android, tablet, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to go over 22 types of content that your audience or readers, are, sure to love. And I want you to know that you can use most of these types, of content for either free or paid content. Okay. So, for example, a checklist, it makes a really great pre-sale tool, but it also makes a nice supplement to a paid product too. Okay. And a lot of the content that I'm going to go over can come in like a variety of different structures. Okay. So, for example, content like reports and videos and articles, they can take the form of like how-to tutorials, lists, tips, FAQs, reviews, etc., etc. Okay. All right. So without further ado, let's go over the 22 types of content that you should create. So number one, articles and blog posts. I started with something that everyone is familiar with. Okay. Articles are a staple in your suite of content. You should have plenty. Okay. You should have articles on hand. They're like the most often created type of content. They're most familiar, most popular, right? Um, and they typically fall into about 500 to 1500 words, per article or blog post. And you can produce them in a variety of formats. So, for example, you can have like a step-by-step how-to article. You could have a top 10 tips article. You can have um, a roundup article, that lists the top articles. you know, you could have tools or other resources on a particular topic. So just a variety. Okay. These articles, you can also um, create them as like lessons, like if you have a course, paid course or membership site, then your articles can be like your lessons, right? Um, so that's the first type. So number two is reports and ebooks, another very, very common type of content. So compared to articles, your reports, your ebooks, these are longer pieces of content that, that share more in-depth how-to information. Because they're longer, then they can better help the reader to solve their problem. They can help them to reach a goal or just better enjoy a particular interest, by providing some additional training and tools that a limited, length article is not going to provide. 500 to 1500 words for article. Reported ebook can be as long as you want it to be, of course. So, for example, you may create like a 5,000 word report that details how to house train a puppy. Okay. Essential components of a report or ebook includes more examples. They include more variables and options and tips to help to better explain the training, so that way more people can see how it applies to their unique circumstances. Okay, so you're just going more in depth. And that some people, they take articles and they compile them, they put them together to form reports and ebooks, right? Okay, so number three, checklists. Checklists. Okay, so the checklists, um, these provide the step-by-step process, the step-by-step overview of a process. Okay, these work extremely well as lead magnets, as paid products, and even bonuses to products like your courses and things like that. So those checklists, um I love checklists, but I'm not talking about just your little bulleted point and everything. I'm talking about those that give you information or examples and things like that. So you might offer like a get out of debt checklist, alongside with your debt management course. Okay. So I want you to think of these as like the framework for a full course. Okay. Checklist, the framework for a full course. Checklists are, they're bare bones essentials. They're essentials. Okay. Essentials only. So we don't give a whole lot of detail, but we give the essentials. That's what the checklist is for. Like, make sure you've done this, or this is the next step. This is the process. It's the list of items required, the things to be done or the points to be considered, without giving a lengthy explanation of those steps. Okay. So it's just like, hit on this, hit on that, hit on this, a good checklist. Check it off. Okay. So number 4 is the planners and the calendars. Okay. So these types of tools provide an overview of a process. Okay. And they tell people exactly what to do each day so that they can achieve a goal or complete a process. Very valuable, right? So, for example, you might offer the 30-day planner for launching your blog. So, in that planner, you're giving them what to do each day for 30 days, right? People love that, right? And one of the benefits of providing a planner is that it keeps the user on track to reach their objective. So they're going to get the results that they need, right? And a lot of people stumble, in consistently taking steps towards their goals, either because they don't know what to do next, or, the remaining tasks seem to be so overwhelming. So if you create a planner or calendar, that's going to help to break down the process into the manageable daily activities and a task that they need to do so that they can make progress and they can keep going. So if you don't have that in your arsenal for your niche, then think of how you can utilize a planner or calendar for your audience. Okay. So number 5, worksheets. Now, worksheet is just like a fill in the blank, document um, that moves the user through a series of questions to answers to help them to arrive at a discovery or help them to arrive at a decision that they need to make. Okay. So for a discovery, using worksheets for discovery purposes, it can help people to affirm their thoughts or their feelings. Like if you're a life coach, you may want to use a discovery worksheet, right? Um, like they need to arrive at a particular or they need to confirm their thoughts, they need to affirm their thoughts, and they need to affirm their feelings. So for example, arriving at the conclusion that, okay, yes, I should go ahead and homeschool my child or something like that, or learn what their need is. Like, I need to create a membership site, recognizing their next step. My next step is to hire a coach. So this is a discovery worksheet. Okay. And number 2, you can do a decision worksheet. Okay. So, which is slightly different because worksheets that are decision worksheets, they help people to make important decisions that they consider the answers um, they give to a series of questions. So, for example, the topic of my first course is going to be weight loss for women over 50 years of age. Okay. So it helps them to arrive at a decision. Okay. This is what my topic is going to be. Okay. So whether you use worksheets as free content, like lead magnet or a blog post or something like that, or paid content, they are extremely great tools to help people to take steps towards their objectives, to just work it out. I like to think of worksheets as working something out, pretty much. Okay. That's how I like to think of it. All right, so that was number 5. So number 6, we're moving along here. We're moving kind of fast because I got 22, y'all, okay? So number 6, cheat sheets. So the cheat sheets, I think people just like the word cheat in it sometimes. I don't know. The cheat sheets, these are one-page summaries of a topic that lists as many tips, steps, and ideas as possible. Cheat sheets work really, really well as free content. Okay. They draw people into like your sales funnel, or they can also work very, very well as supplemental materials alongside your paid content. Okay. So, for example, a cheat sheet you could offer would be the writer's cheat sheet for crafting a thriller novel. Okay. It's just something about the word cheat. Like if you say, do you want this worksheet or you want this cheat sheet? You're probably going to get more people raise their hands. Say, oh, I want the cheat sheet. Right. Um, but anyway, the cheat sheets are usually, printable, downloadable, printable. and people are able to refer to them over and over again as a resource, which is really, really valuable, because that helps to keep you top of mind as well. Okay. So it's a really great idea for you to include like your branding, your logo. So that way you come to mind every time the cheat sheet is used. Okay. All right. So number 7 is videos. Okay. So video is like, it rules. Video rules. Okay. Videos, you have different types of formats for the videos, you or types of videos. You can do a talking head video, where people see you talking, animated videos, demo videos, like you demonstrating, or slide presentation video. You can offer tutorials, video courses, sales letter videos. Okay. And so, for example, for video, you can put together like a demonstration video that shows your viewers how to lay towel in a bathroom. Okay, so if you're doing like home improvement or something like that, or maybe you're an interior decorator or whatever. Okay, videos do have a higher perceived value than many other types of content, and so that's what makes them excellent lead magnets or premium priced paid content. Okay. So that's number 7. So while we're talking about videos, let's slide on into number 8, which is webinars. So the webinars are live presentations for the most part. So you have some people who do the evergreen webinars, but they're live presentations, which gives them a higher value. Okay, because instead of looking at a pre-recorded video, they're looking at you live and able to interact with you live. Okay, so naturally you have your recordings and your replays that you can distribute as well. You can do like a solo presentation, or you can invite one or more expert guests to join you. So let's say, for example, you could do a screen share presentation where you show viewers how to set up a WordPress blog. Okay, so you're right there live, and then you can also take questions and answer questions, or somebody may be like, well, how do I create a post? And you can say, oh, that's a great question, Stephen, or whoever the person is, and then I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Every content creator should have at least one signature free webinar that provides high quality content, okay, and leads naturally to a core paid offer. All right. So do a free webinar, and there are some templates online that you can look search for as far as how to structure a paid webinar or free webinar, excuse me. And because webinars, they produce good results, they really do. Number 9, I'm going to have to move on here because sometimes I want to talk a little bit more in depth about each one, but I have to remember that I have 22. So number 9 are templates. Love templates. Okay, so templates are tools that help people to complete a task more quickly. Okay, work smarter, not harder, right? So these are usually, fill in the blank style so that they can easily be customized for the user's specific needs. So, for example, you can create a fill in. It's kind of like a worksheet, but it's customized. So you give someone. No, I'm not going to even say a worksheet. You give someone, let's say, a sales letter. Okay, how to create the perfect sales letter or something like that. And so what you would do is you can make notes on there. Like I have a template where I have the notes to the person, to the user in red. And of course, they're going to remove that information, but it's to help to guide them on how to use it and give them some examples as they go through filling out the template. And then they have that template to help them to compose their sales page. Okay. So templates are really good supplements to courses and other paid products. And I'll say they work really good as free content, of course, to generate and to convert traffic. So definitely templates. Okay, so number 10 is guides. So guides can take multiple forms. They can be, you can do like a buyer's guide, which is a great for a lead magnet, like a buyer's guide for picking the best PLR content. Okay. Or you could do like a tutorial style guide, like the bodybuilder's guide to winning your first competition. Okay. So these can be something as simple as a series of tips, like 101 tips, um, insights or something like that and templates for homeschoolers. So it doesn't have to be, complicated. It can be simple. Okay. You could just give them a series of tips. Um, or you can make it as elaborate and as detailed as you want to, like a step-by-step manual. Okay. So that's what the guides are. You can have a short guide or you can have a more in-depth guide. Okay. Number 11. This is one of my favorites too. Infographics. I love infographics, creative ones. So infographics are a really good piece of content to use, like when you're sharing information with that has a lot of data. So it helps to make that data look attractive, right? Because an infographic depicts data visually, which makes it easier to digest. For example, the 10 numbers every business owner ought to be tracking, like dealing with metrics or whatever. Okay. And so, infographics, if you're not utilizing infographics, pull up canva.com and create you an infographic for your niche or your industry and see how that helps to build your list, or even sell a product if you want to attach it onto a smaller price page, or like at the beginning of your funnel. Number 12, I like this one too, swipe files. Swipe files. So swipe files is basically a collection of ideas. Um, a collection of ideas that readers use for inspiration. And it helps to help to make their task faster, to make it easier. So you give them like a list of ideas or and examples or whatever to help to inspire them to come up with their own. All right. So um that's how I think, like, it's just examples and ideas. It's a inspirational file. So, like, for example, a headline swipe file would be like a collection of real sales letter headlines. So these headlines have been used before, um, on sales letter, and they have been proven to work. So you can put them into a swipe file as a collection of headlines. So then that would inspire people when they look at it, like, oh, and they can come up with their own. Okay. So notice I said inspire them, because users should not copy anything from a swipe file. They should just use it for inspiration and creative brainstorming. Okay. All right. Number 13 is courses. So, courses can be like short e-courses meaning, courses that you send through the email. And usually if you email courses, it's going to be like day one, you send them the content. You want to set that up in your autoresponder. Day two, and they automatically get that content. Like a 7-part e-course, it's going to be delivered daily for like a week or something like that, right? You can also do all the way to a multi-month course. I mean, it's up to you, but that's an e-course. So you might create a 6-month course that details how to set up an online business. Okay. If you're doing courses, e-course is just one type. So you can do a short course, like I was saying, like a 7-day e-course, or you can do a long course, which would be the multi-month course. Okay. So next would be our case studies. Okay, so number 14, case studies. A case study shows a before and after look at a particular person's efforts and results. So this is what was going on before, and this is what is going on now after, they have experienced whatever service you provide. And so you can compile case studies and put that out there. So for content, okay. So again, they see what someone or something looked like when they arrived at your content, when they first found out about you, before they made the decision to work with you. Then is detail of how they used your content or service or program, and then also what happened as a result. Okay, so a case study can do 3 things. Number one, they can show readers and viewers how to achieve a goal, or complete a task. Okay. Number two, case studies are proof. They're social proof. Okay. They can prove that a particular product or even an idea works. And number three, they inspire somebody to take action and to use that product or the idea. Okay, so that helps people. They're like, oh wow, they got those results. Oh, they started out. This sounds like my situation. And then this is what they, this is how they are now. I need to sign up. So you might want to post a case study, for example, on your blog that shows how your training helps someone uh, shave 10 strokes off their average golf score. Okay, that was the example I wrote down, you all. So I'm pretty sure you can think of something better. Okay, so number 15, audios and podcasts. Okay, so Wisdom is like a podcast, right? Wisdom is an audio app. You can share just about anything in audio that you share via text, like a step-by-step tutorial. You know, it's worth creating an audio version of your content for those who are auditory learners or who prefer to listen to content while they're commuting, while they're exercising, etc. Right? And it's especially great type of content to choose when your information would especially benefit from an audio component. Okay, so for example, say you are a tutor and Spanish tutor or teacher, and if you're teaching conversational Spanish, then a podcast would be a really excellent choice, right? Okay, so number 16 is interviews. Now, this is where somebody interviews you or you interview another expert in your industry. Okay. Now, I want you to take note that being the interviewee is the better option. Okay. Because it positions you as the expert. All right. So I just told you, I gave you an example right then within that, letting you know this is what you should do, be the interviewee instead of being an interviewer. And I told you why, because it positions you as the expert. All right. So you can do text interviews, phone interviews, you can do video interviews. So you have different ways to format interviews, right? You also have the option of doing live interviews or just recording them and editing them before you release them to your audience. Okay. All right. So that was number 16. So number 17 is slide presentations. So a slide presentation is basically, it's just a set of slides, PowerPoint keynote slides, with content related to a particular topic. So you just put it on slides. Think of them like a digital version of a presentation that you would give in person at an event or meeting, right? Slide presentations. They can include or exclude audio. So with the slide presentations, now there's another one I want to think. I'm trying to think of it. What's the other? It's a whole nother way of doing this slide. Oh, Prezi. So I don't know if you all have heard of Prezi, but I love Prezi. Prez as in zebra I. So do a search for Prezi if you have never heard of the Prezis. They put a little, umph into the slide presentations instead of like boring PowerPoint slideshows or keynotes or whatever, keynote slides. Try Prezi. I love Prezi. Okay. So you can do them, you can do your slide presentations live or, live on a webinar, or you can create a video with your slide share, or you can post it on a platform like, SlideShare, or wait a minute, I don't even, SlideShare, did they go out? That was on LinkedIn, wasn't it? The 10 keys to writing a great novel. Okay. You can present a presentation like that and just go through it each step by step, giving them the 10 keys to writing a great novel. So I'm pretty sure you can think of other examples, you all. I wrote down some just to inspire to, so you all can have a base point. Okay. So number 18, crowdsourced content. Okay. So what that is, like what? Crowdsourced content. Okay. That's where you have members of your niche or your industry to share information, and then you compile this information. Okay. So for example, your bodybuilding audience, if let's say you have a bodybuilding audience, they might send in like their favorite weight loss tips, or cutting, what they call it, tips. Okay. So then you would take that information and you would compile them into one document, like a report, and then you distribute it like for a lead magnet to your audience, right? So This type of content is especially useful if all contributors to it become distributors of it. So those who have contributed to sending in this example, their tips and everything, then you definitely want them to also be distributing the entire content compilation as well. Okay. It's a good source of traffic when you have those who submitted the tips to give away the document to people that they know. All right. Okay, so number 19 is expert collaboration. So that's basically similar to crowdsourced content, except here the people who are contributing something are all experts in the field. Okay, hence expert collaboration. So, for example, you might ask a group of personal trainers or dietitians and other experts, what's the best way to lose 10 pounds? Okay, so then you would take that information and you would compile it just like in the previous one, the crowdsourced content. Okay, and then distribute it. All right, we are almost done. We're on number 20. So 20 is group coaching and Q&A. Group coaching and Q&A. So this is where you solicit questions from your audience and then you just answer those questions in a group coaching session. Okay? It's a lot of ways to do this. So you can compile your answers into a PDF document and you can distribute it through email, or you can post the Q&A session in the Facebook group, or you can do a session live on a webinar, a podcast, or on a video. Okay, so another type of content. All right, and your audience will love you for it. Group coaching is a really good option because it allows your audience to receive the help that they actually want to receive. Okay, and it also allows you to address questions that you probably haven't thought of before. Okay. Okay, so number 21 is glossaries and terms. Now, this is a really good option if you are teaching beginners in a niche, and you got to get them familiar with the terminology. So this is a great piece of content that you can create for them. It's a good resource because people who are new are going to be able to reference it again and again, which is really, really good if you include a link and a call to action within the resource, like the online marketing glossary or something like that. Okay. And last on the list of the 22 types of content that your audience is eagerly waiting for you to create is live stream. Yes. Maybe I should have that up there with video. What do you all think? But this is where you film something and then you stream it in real time. So one idea is to go behind the scenes, at like an event, that's related to your industry or your niche, and do for a live stream. So let's say if you're a novelist, you're at a novelist conference, then you might do like an impromptu interview with an author or a panelist. Okay, live stream behind the scenes content. Okay, so that's 22 types of content that your audience is eagerly waiting for you to create. Okay. So, what do you do with this information? Because I know a lot of times we get on and we listen, but that's all we do. We just learn, but we have to also implement, right? So, variety is definitely key. We learned today. So, your goal over time should be to publish all 22 types of content that I mentioned on this Wisdom Wednesday. Okay. So, go back and listen to it. Listen to all the 22 types that I went over and try to brainstorm at least one or two topics that you can create for each of the 22 types. And then put something on your schedule and get started. Okay. I just like to encourage people to move and take action because I know what it feels like to just, I know what it's like to, listen or to gain information and then not put it to use and not implement it. So I like to encourage others. Let's just go ahead and, take the next step and utilize it. All right. All right. Again, my name is Coach Ophelia Marie, and this is Wisdom Wednesday, and I will be back at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time next Wednesday to give you more information about content creation. So be sure to tune in. Talk to you all later. All right. Bye.